Hey viewers, my name's Cara. We're gonna talk about plagiarism. Welcome to class! Have a seat. I'm gonna learn you some stuff. For those of you who don't know, I was a teaching assistant and writing assistant in college. Some of you are gonna get mad about this video because I'm being too academic. Okay, this is the writing handbook that I actually used as a teaching and writing assistant in college. It's called Rules for Writers. This is the 6th edition by Diana Hacker. This was like our Bible. This is where you get all the grammar rules, punctuation rules, spelling rules. There's information about English as a second language in here, and of course there's information about plagiarism. This is not just like a random lesson, mind you. This is relevant to my channel and to the community at large and people having discourse. So they have the plagiarism section in here under the MLA and APA formatting styles sections, but the information is the same, basically. They give some slightly different examples in each section because MLA and APA are used for different subject matter, but anyway. So I'm looking at the MLA page, but I checked and it's the same information. 3 different acts. I am quoting this directly, by the way. Page 415. 3 different acts are considered plagiarism. 1. Failing to cite quotations and borrowed ideas. 2. Failing to enclose borrowed language in quotation marks. And 3. Failing to put summaries and paraphrases into your own words. This is really basic stuff that we're all taught when you go to any kind of school, I believe, but it's really important, so I'm gonna keep reading you some things. On citing quotations and borrowed ideas, quote, "The only exception is common knowledge, information your readers could easily find in any number of general sources." They go on to list some examples that would be relevant to that subject matter. So, for example, because people talk about this all the time in the community when we have ideas that we have gotten from a book. Like I might say, I learned about the concept of the younger self and the deeper self from reading Starhawk's books. Or, as I believe I just mentioned in my Q&A video, I learned the concept of a mirror book from Scott Cunningham's work. But sometimes there are things that are really general knowledge that everyone can find out, either because it's available in numerous online sources or it's something you read over and over that's just common knowledge. For example, the 4 classical elements of matter are earth, air, fire, and water. We don't necessarily have to cite a source on that because it's common knowledge throughout many, many sources. Of course, you can always go back and say where that system originated if you want to. But when you talk about the elements and you say I use the 4 classical elements, you don't necessarily have to cite that. However, I might want to tell you that the first time I really heard about the concept of the 5th element instead of spirit using the 5th point as center or spirit or mystery, I might want to say that I learned that at witch camp. That's not necessarily where the idea originated. It probably came from somewhere else, but since I don't know that, I can at least give you a little bit of a pathway and say where I learned it. Anyway, it goes on, quote, "As a rule, when you have seen information repeatedly in your reading, you don't need to cite it. However, when information has appeared in only 1 or 2 sources or when it's controversial, you should cite the source. If a topic is new to you and you're not sure what is considered common knowledge or what is controversial, ask someone with expertise. When in doubt, cite the source." Isn't this nice? A little reading time. I'm doing this because it's really relevant. I'm just making fun of myself for reading out of a handbook. That's all that is. Under the section on putting summaries and paraphrases into your own words, quote, "You commit plagiarism if you half copy the author's sentences, either by mixing the author's phrases with your own without using quotation marks, or by plugging your synonyms into the author's sentence structure." There are many, many examples of this that you can find online if you want to look up more, specifics on how to not plagiarize if it's not something that you're already studying in school or that you have already studied in school. So I bring this up because I know there are a lot of young viewers who watch my channel, and also because there is evidence that a lot of older viewers who watch my channel and other things on YouTube, who I think should have learned this and been taught this at some point in their lives, clearly have forgotten or don't care and don't realize the impact that it actually has on content creators on platforms such as places like YouTube. The last time I recorded a video about this subject and my relation to it was in August, but I never ended up editing and uploading that. So today I decided to bring in some actual definitions for you and then talk about what I need to talk about, which is that one time that my work on YouTube was cool enough for everybody to steal. So if you don't know, one of my most popular videos on my personal channel is my Shit People Say to Pagans, Wiccans, Witches, etc. video. Shit People Say videos were a really popular thing that year. I watched a bunch of them on all different types of things. Some of my favorites were shit atheists say, shit girls say to gay guys, which I believe the one I watched was done by Soundly Awake and his character as Keisha. And there was even one called shit guys say to guys who say shit to women on the street. That was one of my favorites. But I hadn't seen any that were about the pagan community, so I decided to make one. And I made that video using all phrases that I have actually heard in my life that have been said to me or that have been said to my friends, either in-person friends or online friends who have shared their stories either through their videos or blogs or by talking to me personally. So I wrote that script, I did these characters, I sorted it into different types of characters of the types of people in our lives who say these things. I acted them out. One of the biggest complaints I get about it is that it's so annoying because I just repeat a bunch of the things over and over and they think it's because I didn't have anything to say and I just wanted to fill the time, which is not the case. It was actually very intentional, and it's because we hear those things over and over and over in our lives, and we agree. It's really annoying. But so it's just a really fun video that I did. A lot of people really liked it. Apparently some people liked it so much that I have seen multiple people, both in video form and in text form, just blatantly stealing what I wrote for that video. Blatantly copycatting it, plagiarizing it. And yes, there is always a danger of this happening online, etc., etc. That's actually part of why, as an artist, I am the kind of person who is really hesitant to share my work. I've always been afraid of people stealing from me, and there's evidence of it. It happens a lot. There is some solace in the fact that when things are posted online, there is usually a date stamp, so it's obvious that my material was posted beforehand when, for example, it's a video copying my work. But when it's a meme online and someone has taken it and put it into text-based form and then shared it all over Tumblr, shared it all over Facebook, and then different people actually steal it from that person who made it and put their own tag on it, and someone else steals it from them, nobody knows who originally made that content anymore, and there isn't necessarily a date stamp on the creation of that meme, so it's harder to say. This has happened multiple times. There is only one person on YouTube so far who I consider a sanctioned or officially known tribute video, and that was someone who asked my permission to act out my video as though it were a script, which it kind of is, and act it out and put their own flavor to it. And I love what they did with it, and I always share it. I'll put it in the description again, but I'm pretty sure I shared it on the video itself, and I recently tweeted it as well. But because I have so many subscribers who are looking out for me, love you guys, I have had people over the years come to me and message me with a link or with a screenshot of something that they found on Tumblr, on Facebook, or someone else's video on YouTube, and they're like, hey, this is really close to your video. I think this person stole this from you. And I check it out, and it pretty much is. The thing about it is that pretty much everyone I have seen has added some of their own content. So the entire things are not fully my work, but the majority of it is, or at least enough of it done in the exact same way, written out with the same kind of, the exact same wording, the same punctuation, ellipses where I put in pauses, things like that, people acting it out with the exact same inflection that I used and the exact same wording. And again, these are things that I wrote out of my head based on my real life experiences. So when someone else quotes directly one of the silly things that I did in that video, it's pretty obvious that they took it from my video. There is a slight chance, because there are some things that are just in the collective unconscious, and there are some comments that obviously people say to us over and over. So if someone else just wants to say, lots of people have told me to read the Bible too, yeah, of course, we all get told that. But the way that it's acted out and the wording that is used a lot of the time, that's why people are able to watch that video and think, this is really close to Cara's video, and it seems like they copied it. And when they do that with 10 different phrases, then you start to realize that they're taking credit for something that they didn't do. So this happened again recently with a video that someone showed me, and it still really bothers me. And it sort of, I know a lot of people would say shouldn't bother me because it's just, you know, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, blah, blah, blah. But you need to cite your sources. You need to give credit where it's due. One of the most upsetting things is seeing other people comment and say, oh my gosh, this is so relatable, oh my gosh, this is so funny, oh my gosh, you're so clever, whatever, and watching that person who plagiarized my work say, oh thanks, I try. You didn't. try. You added a few of your own things, but you copied someone else's work and did not say that you were taking inspiration from someone else, did not say that you were quoting someone else. You know, with the text version meme that's getting passed around Tumblr and Facebook, every time someone shows it to me, it has hundreds or thousands of likes and shares and comments on it of people being like, this is so great, I love this, and assuming that it was created by the person who put their name on it, right? Because that's what you figure. But a lot of those people never end up making it back to my video and realizing that the content is actually not belonging to that person, but to me. And I just want you all to know that I really so appreciate when you see things like that and point it out to me, or when some people have even commented or put a link to my video in the comments of something else saying, hey, this seems really like they took a lot of this from this original video. If you would like to check out the original content and give her some views, you know, I really enjoy the videos. I think it deserves some support. If you liked this, then you'll love the original kind of thing. A lot of people have been asking me to do a part 2 with even more things that you guys have submitted, things that have been said to you that I didn't say in my video because they're not things that have been said to me, or just more things that have been said to me, stuff like that. And I haven't done it yet, but I have been collecting the comments and everything like that to eventually do one. And you know, this could happen with that too. So I appreciate you guys looking out for me, and I really appreciate that people notice things like that, that you can see something else or watch something or read something, and really this just testifies to how closely they are plagiarizing and not paraphrasing at all. Because if you can read something and the way that it's written and the punctuation says, oh wait, this is from Cara's video, then okay. So in August when I recorded this, it was because I came across something on my recommended for me on Instagram where someone had shared that text-based meme on their Instagram. And in their caption for it, they said, I stole this from my friend, and they tagged them from their Instagram, and I just wanted to give credit where it's due, like crediting where they got it from, that they got it from their friend's Instagram. And of course it was from Facebook, and it had a Facebook page's tag on it as though that page had created it, which they didn't. It's mostly mine. But except for like the thing about the pendulum, I didn't say anything about a pendulum in my video. So there were a couple things that are not mine, but still. When not enough of it is your own ideas and your own words, it's plagiarism. You need to cite the source. I'm just saying, if you were my student in one of my classes, you would be getting some points against you and you would have to rewrite the paper. Okay, it's just, come on. So it's really upsetting. And I know a lot of people probably think, you know, I'm never gonna see these things. I do. People show them to me or I find them. It's not hard. It's the internet. But yeah, so it's been happening for years, and every time it happens, it still gives me a stomachache. I still have like a mini anxiety attack when I decide to message someone or comment to someone saying, hey, just so you know, someone pointed this out to me that a lot of this seems to be taken from my video, and I'd really appreciate if you gave me credit. And, you know, trying to explain, like especially now since I'm trying to make YouTube more of a thing to support me, and when I put out original content, if people like it and support it, I would like you to support my work by sharing it and telling your friends about it, and if you can, financially support by sponsoring me on patreon.com/cutewitch772. You know, if you like someone's work, support it. And if you want to act it out, tell me and tell people that's what you're doing, and then I'll share it and I'll give you some love. But if I find out that you stole it and you didn't say anything and you didn't attempt to credit me, I am going to give you no publicity, not even negative publicity. I will never say your name. So that's why it's upsetting to me as a teacher and as a creator myself and as an artist. There is a flip side to this also, which came up with one of the more recent videos that I found that did this, and just going along with the comments of people saying, oh, this is so great, I love this, whatever. When people in the pagan community steal things from each other like this and don't give credit and just take credit for themselves, because that's what you're doing when you put your name on something that's not yours and you know it's not yours. You are putting up the front that this is your original content, that you came up with this. And if you've watched any of my videos, you will know that I will often tell you, because I'm not always the best at remembering where I read things, you know, like Starhawks and Cunningham's and whatever, stuff like that. I'll think about it, or I might have notes on it and I can go back and look and see, where did I learn this? But a lot of the time I'll forget where I read something, but I know it's not mine, so I'll say, I don't really remember where I got this right now, but I know I read it in an article somewhere. And not remembering is not the same as claiming that it's yours. Sometimes people just repeat things to themselves so often over time that they start to think that it's their own original idea and they forget that it never was. I've definitely had conversations with some people where I will tell them a new idea and then, a year later we'll be talking about something, and they'll start talking to me as though they've always shared that idea. And I'll say, well, what about that conversation that we had where we were arguing about this and I brought up this point, and now you're saying that you've always had the same point, but I remember you didn't. And they're like, what are you talking about? I've never thought that. There's something else going on there. And that does happen. But I give credit where it's due, and when I don't remember, I say I don't remember, and at least then I'm not claiming that it's my idea. I got it from somewhere. It's somewhere out there. The danger there, of course, is that you might find a source where someone else is claiming that it's theirs and it's not actually the source either, so, ooh, it's a big mess. But anyway, honing in on the problem that I'm getting at, people in the pagan community, people in any community, but just since this is a pagan-related thing, when I see someone putting themselves out there as an authority about anything, putting themselves out there as a teacher, as a content creator, as a blogger, as a whatever, people look up to you. And I see that when I go to your social media places and I see the kinds of things that you're posting and I see the comments that you get and I see those lovely comments that are the kind of things that I hear from people. I see your content has changed my life. I see thank you so much for talking about this. It's really made me think a different way. Your videos are so great. Your blog is so great. I love your ideas. I really look up to you. I consider you a role model. I see those kinds of things being said to some of these people who are blatantly stealing ideas from other people in the community. And to me as a teacher and a content creator, I want the people who consider themselves your students or people who you consider students to be aware that the person they're putting their trust in, who they're getting their information from, is not being truthful with them. This is why people come to me and say, Cara, I want to know your recommendations for websites and other people's videos and blogs and articles and whatever, because I know I can just Google it, but I don't know what information is out there to trust. And I usually tell people there are a lot of good sites now, and especially things where if you see a lot of us citing it, that people you trust, if you see a lot of us citing it, you can probably trust it, or at least know that we like it. And especially if you see people commenting on things and there's a lot of people commenting who are like, this is wrong, there's probably something blatantly wrong with whatever that page says. But this is that problem, right? This is why people don't know what to trust on the internet, because people who are putting themselves out there as teachers, they're not just people saying, oh guys, I'm just a beginner, I don't really know anything, I'm just saying some stuff, because I think everyone expects beginners to not know everything yet, because we're just starting. But people who are putting themselves out there as authorities and saying, I'm going to teach you things, and then you find out that something they did is less than honest, plagiarizing someone else's ideas, then you start to wonder, what else have they not been being honest about? The rest of their content could be totally 100% factual, truthful, their own personal experience, original content, but that seed of doubt enters your mind. And I want it to. And I want that to happen for anyone online seeking any kind of teacher, myself included. And that's why I encourage people to look at different sources and look at different points of view. And when you're looking up a specific idea or topic, to try to find something from that source or that thing, whatever that topic is around, and then try to find something from the complete opposite spectrum, something that disagrees with that idea, and then try to look for some neutral sources that are a little bit more objective. And always be aware that everyone has a bias. Absolutely everyone. No one is biasless. We all see through our own lens of our own experience. You can step away from that as much as possible, but it's also nice to remember that that's how we work. On just the very basic level, and this is more me now being silly and poking fun, but also just being brutally honest. If you're copying my work and putting yourself out there as a teacher, and a lot of people really like it, that might mean that really they want me to be their teacher. Not only are you taking views from me and support from me that could be helping me actually live my life, you're taking students away from an honest teacher. Whoa, that just got real. Sorry guys, but this is a serious thing, and I'm not saying that I'm the best teacher out there. I'm not, and I'm not the best teacher for everyone out there, because not everyone wants to go down the same path that I'm going down. Not everyone is interested in the same things that I'm interested in. That's fine. I'm actually having a conversation right now with someone I know in real life who is having a problem with someone who thinks that they are better than other people and thinks that they know more than other people, and therefore that they can't, stoop to the level of learning. It's crazy, but this happens in our community so often. And so To those of you who are always telling me I don't know what to trust online, I'm sorry for telling you to Google things. I mean, I'm not sorry because I do want you to do that, but I do understand. I do understand why you distrust information, and you should. And the fact that you're checking your sources means that you're on the right track, at least as far as that is concerned. If you're checking sources, if you're citing sources, all of that is good. You know, I don't work with anyone one-on-one or like small group on one to be like a teacher-student relationship kind of thing, but there definitely are things that people learn from me. There are things that I say that help other people who are older than me, who are younger than me, who are super experienced, who are inexperienced. And what I hope to do is just put things out there to the extent that you always know where I'm coming from. You know what my biases are for the most part. You know what my sources are when I know them. And when I don't, I tell you that I don't know or that I don't remember, but I tell you that it's not my idea. I tell you it's something I've learned somewhere else. And usually I don't remember because I'm just off the cuff making videos. I'm not like Googling things beforehand to make sure that everything that's going to pop into my stream of consciousness is something that I have my source for immediately. But if it's something like this where I'm sitting down planning to talk about it, I'll have the source ready, available, or with a link or something. But I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. But that is never an excuse to not try. And it is harmful. It's harmful to the content creators that you're taking from because you're taking their audience away and support that they should have for their work. And it's harmful to the people who are looking to learn from you. So much of this is why I don't put myself out there as an artist or as a reader or as a teacher. And I understand that that's how a lot of people see me anyway, and I am starting to embrace that title a little bit more as time goes on. But this is why I haven't done that much in the past, because I see so many people doing it who are not qualified and who are not authorities, but they don't care. They just put themselves out there as such. You know, I've had experiences with going into learning from people who put themselves out there as authorities, and then over time realizing that they don't actually know what they're talking about, or that their biases are so extreme that they're drastically coloring the information that they're putting out without being honest about that sort of filter and lens that they're seeing through. It's just, you know, it's a lot, and it's a lot to navigate. So those of you who are navigating that really have a lot going on, and I sympathize with that because I even still deal with it now, decades later. I think you get the point. I think I've said everything that I need to say. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you for being here, thank you for supporting my content in any way that you do, whether it is sponsoring me on Patreon, or commenting, buying things from my Etsy shop, or sharing this with people that you know would really like and appreciate it. Please subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. And if you see anything going around the internet that you know is actually something that belongs to someone else, feel free to either leave a comment saying, hey, you know, I recognize this from somewhere else, I'm not so sure this is your original content, or tell the content creator and let them say something if they want to. I haven't said something every individual time it's happened, but I always appreciate hearing about it. I always appreciate knowing that you guys are paying attention and supporting. So have a good one. I will see you with another new video very soon because I have lots of stuff to talk about. And until then, don't forget to be awesome, which includes citing your sources. Blessed be, and goodbye. Testing, testing.
Okay.